I think everybody knows this. If not, we'll learn it. Okay? You come to church, learn something, right? Jessica said, get your book out. You'll learn this song. You'll be singing this the rest of the week. You'll love it. Huh? As David calls her sunshine, because she's always happy. Okay? Okay, we're on page 229. This world is not my home. Ready? Here we go. This world is not my home. I'm just a passing through. My treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Does anybody know that song? Does anybody raise your hand if you know the song? I can't tell who's singing. A couple of people singing. Okay, well, four of you. Very good. The rest of you will know it now. Okay. They're all expecting me, and that's one thing I know. My Savior pardoned me, and now I onward go. I know He'll take me through, though I am weak and poor, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I had no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Last verse. Just up in glory land we'll live eternally. The saints on every hand are shouting victory. Their songs as sweet as praise drift back from heaven's shore, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, then Lord, what would I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Thank you. Have a seat. Let's go, Lord, in prayer. Does anybody have a spoken prayer request? Come back this week? Good. I miss them. I'm ready for them to come back. I know they wouldn't. I think they wanted to stay another week longer or something like that, but I'm ready. Are you all ready for them to come back home? I'm ready for them to come back home. Okay, very good. I'm glad they're coming home. I don't know. It's a big empty space. People are gone. I want them to be here. Okay. Okay. Pray for their safety. Trevor, Carrie coming back too, same time. Okay. Very good. And Braxton's doing good. No more seizures. Good. Very good. Good. Very good. All right. Anybody else with a spoken request? Something more pray? Okay. Anyone else? Any unspoken requests? Something you want to pray about, not to mention out loud? Okay, let's pray. Thank you, Lord, for loving us. I pray you're blessing our service tonight, and all we say and do, we want to bring honor and glory to you. And pray for we'll see lost people saved. I thank for all the kids that are here tonight. I'm thankful that apparently this is our smallest class in the whole church, and we're glad for all the kids that are here. I pray you'll bless the teachers and bless the kids and help the kids to listen and learn to walk with you. And pray for the lost ones that are here tonight when we see them saved. I pray for Charlie and Michelle and Carrie and Braxton and all the kids that they'll be safe with their traveling. And I pray for the other needs within the families, Lord, for the peace within the families and the joy to be restored. I pray for others that are traveling this week, and our niece and nephew is traveling tomorrow. Keep them safe. I pray you'll direct us as a church family that we'll meet the needs of those in our community, that will be a light to the lost people around us. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. Okay. The only announcement, is that the Kings Island trip is next Thursday, and I think everyone's decided who's going to go, who's not going to go. Tam and I aren't going to go. We were planning on it, and then we kind of some plans got changed, so we're not going. So there's just like 2 carloads of people going, and we don't need a van. We don't have a bunch of teenagers going. All the teenagers are going to ride with Denny and Joey, so that's going to work out perfect. So, anybody got testimony? God's blessed you in some way. You want to tell everybody about it? I got testimony. This is just me personally. And it's like nobody knows most of what goes on. I guess I'll put it this way. In my head, nobody knows the things that go through my head. I'll put it that way. Just like you. Nobody knows what goes through Jessica's head. Nobody wants to know what goes through Jessica. Yeah, that's right. And it's but there's things that bother me, eat at me, and I get real discouraged or downhearted for an hour or a day or whatever it takes. And then things that happen, I pray about things, and something happened this Sunday, and it was an answer to prayer, a specific answer to prayer, and I've been like going on a downhill slide like this, and then go back up real quick because God's still the same. He is always the same. He answers our prayers, and I'm thankful for it. And I know Tammy said in her prayer, in her testimony Sunday morning, I think it was Sunday morning, that she said, sometimes God says no, sometimes He says yes, sometimes He says later or at a different time, or right now. And sometimes when the answer is no, we understand the no. Or sometimes when the answer is not right now, we understand He's not going to answer our prayers where we want right now. But then sometimes the answer is exactly as we ask. And I'm thankful for those. I'm thankful for all the times that we get to go to God in prayer. But I'm thankful for the times that we get, when He says no, we know His will is better than ours, right? Call unto me and I'll answer thee, show thee great and mighty things that thou knowest not. I'm glad that He answers in ways that are better than what we could ever come up with. But then other times He gives us exactly what we ask for. He says, see, I'll ask if you ask the right thing. So I want to ask for the right thing. I want to make sure I'm always asking for the right thing. Okay, one other thing, Jessica's moving. Is that right, Jessica? She has moved, but her furniture is still in Dunbar, so we'll try to work out a time, maybe if it's not raining tomorrow afternoon, but I think I can get back in Virginia around 3:30, 4 o'clock. If we can work out, would that be a good time, Jessica? So whenever we can call, text, get somebody down there to meet down there. Yes, we can get somebody, a couple people with trucks and go down there and get her. She's got beds and toddler bed and couches and a cat. Meow. Oh, cat's already there. It's already on the grill right now. Okay, I like cats. It just tastes just like chicken. Okay. All right, so Jessica may need help with that and work it out. Then y'all can get it done someday when I'm working. I can miss out on that completely. Okay. Anybody else got a testimony? God's bless you. You want anybody to know about it? We'll try to help Jessica out with getting her moved. I know Mike Gabeau has a truck, and he's seen a sign one time that said, "Yes, I have a truck, and no, I will not help you move." So I thought that's Cheryl. Okay. Okay. How old is she? Okay. Okay. That's what I'm saying. 36 years old. That's early for stress tests and heart things with chest pain. Okay. Keep her in your prayers. Huh? Could be just stress. You never know. I don't know. I don't know. You allowed to have stress? What age do you have stress? When's that start? Now, whatever. Now, today's the accepted time. Whatever day that is. All right. We just sang a song called "This World Is Not My Home." The writer of that, I remember Lloyd Humphrey singing that song all the time when we were at Canaan Baptist Church near 40 years ago. This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. I want you to turn to 1 Kings chapter 19. 1 Kings 19. We're going to find out what that means to some people. Okay, 1 Kings 19. Okay, you got it? Everybody got it? 1 Kings chapter 19. I'll wait till you find it. I'm not going to read just yet. I want you to find it because I'm going to tell you part of the story. I'm going to review kind of story, part of the story we've gone over the last couple of weeks, and then we're going to read after we go through the story just a little bit. Okay? 1 Kings 19. Tell me that's the New Testament. Just kidding. It's Old Testament. That's good because we're going to be there next week too. Because there's so much in this story. There's some people you read one line in scriptures about this. Well, you read one line about somebody, and there's people you read chapter after chapter, and you find out a lot of character about somebody, and you learn to. I don't know if you read about somebody you like them. Does anybody like George Washington. You ever read about George Washington? You like George Washington? You ever read about military heroes and you learn to like these people? Or you read about your parents or grandparents and things that they said or did before you were born, and someone tells you stories, you learn, I like that person. I like my grandfather. I never met either one of my grandfathers. They both passed before I was born. But I like my grandfather, both my grandfathers, because I've heard stories about them, the things that they did, on both sides. So, Miss Joe, did you know Eddie's husband? Did you know my grandfather, Miss Joe? You never. I think he like died in 1950 or something like that. So I didn't know what age, at what year you moved into the holler. So I didn't know if you knew him. But I know you knew Eddie. Okay. Been a long time. Yeah. So he was. So anyway, but you hear about somebody, and if you read the stories, and I like this. We've been studying about Elijah the last 3 weeks. And when I read about this guy, I really like him. I mean, he's very bold. He prays that it doesn't rain. It doesn't rain for 3 years, right? And God holds back the rain from all of Israel for 3 years' time. God says, go to this little brook over here, and I command the ravens are going to bring you bread and meat in the morning and bread and meat in the evening. And they did. Elijah went there, got the ravens fed him every day. He didn't doubt whether God was going to take care of him. But eventually the brook dried up because it didn't rain anymore. So that's, I don't know how, 6 months, 4 months before the brook dried up. And God said, okay, Elijah, I want you to go down to this Zarephath. There's a widow woman down here, and I've commanded her to feed you. So he goes down there, and God miraculously provides for that woman and her house and Elijah for the next 3 years, however long he was there. And God provides for him. They have this contest after that because this drought has come because Elijah prayed for it, but this drought has come because Israel's turned their backs on God. So Elijah calls out the prophets, the prophets of Baal, the false prophets, and they have this contest. And Elijah says, you offer morning sacrifice, and I'll offer the later sacrifice. And whichever God answers by fire, if your God, Baal, answers by fire, then let Israel serve your God, Baal, which is just stone or wood, and it's just a false god. So they offer a sacrifice. They kill an ox. They lay it out there with the wood and the stone, whatever, and they dance around and jump over, back and forth, cry out to their God all day. And Elijah just sits back and he mocks them. He said, maybe you worship a God, as if there's many. You worship a God. Maybe your God's asleep. Or maybe he's up there in heaven talking to some of the other gods and doesn't know you're calling for him. Or maybe he's on a journey somewhere, went to see some other gods somewhere. And Elijah just makes fun of these guys because they're cutting themselves with lances and jumping across the sticks, but no fire ever comes because their God can't answer. Then Elijah prepares the offering for the evening sacrifice, sets the 12 stones in order as he's supposed to, sets wood on those stones, kills an ox, a young bull, and lays it on there, and then pours 12 buckets of water on it, and fire calls fire down from heaven, and God consumes the sacrifice. Okay. Then he had all the false prophets killed. Okay, because they were telling people to worship Baal, which wasn't real, and it's like saying, "Well, go worship this microphone or worship this pulpit, not worshiping God." So Elijah then has all the false prophets killed. Okay, this man has been bold to serve God his entire life, and we've learned these stories so far in this part of the chapters. We've learned what's happened in about 4 years' time of his life. He is bold in serving God all the way. Okay? Chapter 19, verse 1. I'm going to read the first 4 verses. 1 Kings chapter 19, look at verse 1. And Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and withal how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not thy life to be like one of them by tomorrow about this time. And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life, and came to Beersheba, which belonged to Judah, and left his servant there. Okay, so Elijah's running from Jezebel. He's done everything he's supposed to do. He served God wholeheartedly, and now Jezebel swears to kill him. And so he was on the run. He runs from her. Okay, he goes to Jezebel, but then he's going to keep going. Verse 4 is when we'll read this one and stop for just a minute. But he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down under a juniper tree
and he requested for himself that he might die, and said, "It is enough now, O Lord, take away my life, for I am not better than my father." Stop reading right there. Okay? That's the statement I want to get to. Okay? Elijah has done everything he's supposed to do. His entire life, he's been obedient to God. I mean, he's saved by grace just like we are. Is that too loud, or is there a ring to it or something? Something that doesn't sound right in the PA. Okay. He's done everything he's supposed to do in serving God. And then he gets Jezebel sending the people out to kill him. And so he runs from the killers, and he gets to a certain point, sits down, and he says, "It's enough. I'm done. Take me out. I'm ready to die." He requested, middle verse 4, he requested for himself that he might die. Okay? I just said, "It's enough. I'm done. I've done everything you want me to do, and everybody hates me for doing it." Okay? So what do you want me to do now? I'm done. I'm no better than my fathers are. My fathers are asleep. They've all gone to heaven, and I want to go where they are, and my time here is through. Okay? Okay, look down at look at verse 15. I don't know if anybody ever gets this point in life or not. Look at verse 13. Because last week we talked about the still small voice, and God speaks to him. He's down on Mount Sinai at this point. Verse 13. "And it was so when Elijah heard it, the still small voice," he knows God's there in his presence, and he's in God's presence. "And it was so when Elijah heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood in the entering of the cave. And behold, there came a voice to him and said, 'What doest thou here, Elijah?' And he said, 'I have been very jealous for the Lord God of hosts, because the children of Israel have forsaken thy covenants, and thrown down thine altars, and slain thy prophets with the sword. And I, even I only, am left, and they seek my life to take it away.'" Stop reading right there. So Elijah is in a cave. He hears the voice of God. He goes out, wraps his face in a mantle, and goes outside. And the voice says to him, "What are you doing here?" He said, "I've asked God to take me home." Why? Because all of Israel, who I've preached to all my life, have forsaken God. They've cast down God's altars. They've killed the prophets of God. He said, "I'm the only one left. There's nobody left serving God. I'm the last one. And I'm ready to go home." Okay? Look at verse 15. We're going to read the next 3 verses, because this is important to me. Okay? This is one of those, I got this. I understand these things to me. Verse 15. "And the Lord said to him, Go, return on thy way to the wilderness of Damascus. And when thou comest, anoint Hazael to be king over Syria, and Jehu the son of Nimshi shalt thou anoint to be king over Israel, and Elisha the son of Shaphat of Abel Meholah shalt thou anoint to be prophet in thy room." So God says, "Okay, you want to go home? I'm going to take you. I'm going to call you home. I'm going to bring you home, but I want you to do this first." Okay? "And it shall come to pass that him that escaped the sword of Hazael shall Jehu slay, and him that escaped from the sword of Jehu shall Elisha slay. Yet I have left me 7,000 in Israel, all the knees which have not bowed unto Baal, and every mouth which has not kissed him." That means if they worship Baal, they bow down and they kiss that idol thing, maybe kiss his feet or kiss whatever on the idol. Okay. 3 statements that God made to Elijah. One is, you're not alone. Okay. You're not the only one out there. I'm with you, for one thing. Okay. But you're not alone. Number 2 is, I have 7,000 more just like you. I remember when the first time we went to youth conference in Hammond, Indiana, Brother House preached. And something that he said at youth conference hit me. Tam and I were, I think, 19, 20 years old at the time. I know, 20 years old maybe. And when we walked into the auditorium, we thought, it's almost like at Cana Baptist Church, we had maybe about 8 or 10 teenagers in our church. But it seemed like it was us against the world. Like there was nobody else that was like us in the rest of the world. It just seems like it, that we were so different. The day we got saved, at that point, it seemed like we were different from the rest of the world, and there's nobody else like us. Okay? And then we walked in the auditorium, and there's 7,000 teenagers in that room like us, just exactly like us, almost identical to us. Same haircuts, same dresses, same everything. They were just like us. Okay? They were a bunch of heathen kids that got saved. They were just like us. And Brother Howells made a statement, which he brought it up to us later when we went to school there. He said one of the reasons for youth conference is to let other teenagers know they're not the only ones. That there's other kids just like them all the way around. The other night when the boys were up there playing the piano and Rebecca came back in here and we all go back there to eat, and Rebecca was up here with Preston and one of the other boys, and they were going over songs with each other. She was showing them new songs, and they were talking to her about new songs. And I thought, it's an encouragement to know that there's others just like you, other godly Christian people just like you. It's an encouragement to know you're not the only one, okay? But the third thing he said was, I still have a job for you to do. God said this to Elijah. I want you to go to anoint Jehu to be king of Syria. I want you to anoint I can't remember the guy's name of, Jehu to be king of Syria, and Elisha to be a prophet in your stead, and Nimshi to be over Israel, okay, to be king over Israel. And God says, okay, you're not the only one. There's 7,000 more, and I've got a job for you to do before you go home. I'm going to answer your request. Remember, because God says He answers our prayers, right? He hears and answers our prayers. And in the book of James, when God talks about prayer, we talk about prayer. He said Elijah was a man of like passions, just like we are. There's no difference between him and me. There's no flesh difference between him and me or you. We're all the same. We've got the same flesh. We've got the same mental thinking processes or the same desires in life. And God says there's no difference between that guy and you. He asked for a prayer. He asked to be taken home. He's done it. This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. My treasures are laid up. The song we sang. Somewhere beyond the limit. I'm ready to go home. Elijah said, take me home. They requested. And God said, fine. I'm going to take you home, but I got you. You're not done yet. You're not the only one, and you got a job to do. God's going to take him home. He's going to grant his request. He's going to take him home in the whirlwind, something different, but not yet, because he's not finished with him first. I think about this often. I remember years ago in church, someone in this church used to stand up and talk about wanting to go to heaven, and they're still here on this side of eternity, but they used to talk about it all the time in their testimonies. They used to talk about how many more friends they have more over there than they have on this side. They have more family over on that side than they have on this side. They have more friends that are already passed than what they have on this side, and they were always ready to go. At any moment, they felt like they were ready to go. And Elijah was ready to go home. I remember probably almost 40 years ago, 38 years ago, something like that, I heard Squire Parsons sing Beulah Land. You ever heard Squire Parsons sing, Beulah Land, I'm longing for you? And as a young person, I thought, okay, yeah, I want to go to heaven too, but I ain't ready to go yet. There's too many things I want to do in life. You know, when I was 20 years old, first time I heard that song, and I thought, yeah, I want to go to heaven, but I don't want to go next. I'm in a hurry, okay? Squire Parsons still alive? He is still alive. So 40 years later, he's probably still singing that same song, right? I think he wrote that song, if I remember right. Okay, so 40 years ago, I'm going to guess and say if he's 70 now, when he was 30, if he was 30 when he wrote the song, he said, I'm ready to go. I want to go. I can't wait to get to the other side. God says, great, I'm glad you want to come. But I'm not done with you yet. I got more songs than you write. I got more people to witness to. You got more fellowship. I got more things for you to do. I'm not ready for you to go yet. Okay? I remember Brother House telling us a story that the night that his mother was passing, his mom was very sick, and he went to see her, and she was laying there in her bed, and she was naming her family members that had already passed, and she said, there's Aunt so-and-so, and she was naming all these people, and Uncle so-and-so. She said, Jack, can you see him? He said, no, Mama, I don't want to right now. He didn't want to go. He wasn't ready to go yet. She was. He was in his 50s, and she was 80, and she was ready to go, or in her 80s, and she was seeing those people and reaching out, ready to go, and he was like, Mom, I ain't ready to go yet. I mean, I got too much to do. I'm supposed to be preaching somewhere tomorrow night. So he wasn't ready, okay? Spiritually speaking, he was. We are going. Heaven is real. Someone talked this week about it. They can't grasp. They know heaven is real by principle. They know by God's word it's real, but sometimes you can't grasp it what it's like, and you can't see it over on the other side. It's spiritual. It's not physical, but there's a physical place that we will go to, and we will be there someday. The Scripture describes it. There's a throne. God sits on the throne. There's a river. All manner of these trees that grow up by the river. There's a city. He gives us the size of the city. There was the pavements made of gold, the gates of pearl, and all these things. God tells us what the physical boundaries are of heaven. It's a real place. My mom and dad are there. We have children that are there. We have family and friends that are there. Tammy's mom's there. We're all going. We know how we're getting there. We have the assurance of it. By grace are you saved through faith. I know I'm going to heaven, but simply by the grace of God, not because I'm a preacher or a good guy or anything like that. I just know the same grace that was offered to Abraham is offered to me. And the people that are there, according to scriptures, are alive. Because when God spoke, he said, I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He didn't say I was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that they're all gone now. He said, they are with me now, just like passing through that door going to another room. They are with me on the other side. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all of our family that are Christians that are in heaven, it's like going through that door, they're on the other side waiting on us, okay? It's a real place. He said, I am the God of Abraham, not was. But the truth is, God tells us the same thing he tells Elijah, not yet, okay? It's not our time to go yet. If today is our time to go, we all go home in a fiery crash, whatever happens. If we go home, we're ready to go. But as long as we're here, it's not yet. You can't go yet. Okay, it's not your turn yet. And we think a lot of people think of a Christian race as if it's a sprint, a 50-yard dash. It's not a 50-yard dash. It's a marathon. And I remember Preacher Dave used to say it's like a merry-go-round, but you can't get off anywhere. Okay, it just keeps spinning, spinning, spinning. You can't get off the merry-go-round. And I remember when we were down in Virginia, Tam and I used to go to a nursing home on Sunday afternoons, and I'd preach there, and we'd sing there, and we had a good time with the people in the nursing home. And I was walking back down the hallway one day, and after we take everybody back to the rooms, and Mr. Weekly was in this room. He was a mailman out there in Syria, and he said, "Preacher, come in here." And I walked into his room. He'd been with us in our service. I walked into his room, and he was sitting there in his wheelchair. He held his hand out. He shook my hand. He said, "I'm going home." So, okay, Brother Weekly. I thought, is your family coming to get you? Because he said, "I'm going home." And I was shaking his hand. And I thought, well, he gets to go live with family or something like that, or maybe he's, cogs are slipping. He thinks he's going somewhere. I said, well, that's good, Brother Weekly. I'm glad his family coming. He said, no. He said, "I'm going home." That's on Sunday afternoon. On Tuesday, he went to heaven. It's like he knew, like he was ready to go. And guys, he's finished with everything Mr. Weekly's supposed to do. He's shaking my hand, telling me bye. I'll see you on the other side. Okay. If that's true, we're not going yet. Then we ought to enjoy the journey as long as we can. We ought to enjoy the journey on this side of eternity. Enjoy the fellowship with God. Enjoy His Word. That's why He's given it to us. I mean, if you understand this, for hundreds of years, people looked for this and couldn't read it. People wanted to have it, and it was chained up to the pulpit of the church. Okay, the only copy they had was chained up there, and they'd come in and read it. Okay, or there's other people that would have just one psalm copied down for them. And God says, "I've given you the whole book. I want you to read it. I want to teach you my word. I want to speak to you. I want you to speak to me." Enjoy the journey by saying, okay, every day, just reading it and saying, okay, I want to enjoy the journey. Speak to me. And He will. I want to talk to you about something. He said, "I'm listening. I'm all ears." Okay? Enjoy the journey, because we're not going anywhere yet. Why? Why are we not going? Because we have to finish our race first. If we're still here, God has a purpose for us, a plan for us. All we got to do is find out what plan to do it. And a lot of people think of that crossing over is great fanfare, going through that door to the other side. Elijah, it's different for Elijah than us. He was caught up in a whirlwind. He didn't die. A whirlwind came, took him. Elisha saw him. He dropped his mantle. Elisha picked it up. And okay. One of the greatest messages I ever heard was preached by a friend of mine named Chris Teff. He preached to the teenagers, and I heard him preach a message. I guess he preached it a couple times. It's called Charlie Mike. He was 82nd Airborne. Marlon, were you an airborne? Okay. Chris was 82nd Airborne. This guy, he was a very disciplined military guy, but if he wanted to go to Hollywood and make movies and be a comedian, he's the funniest guy you ever meet in your life. Okay, and I'm sure everybody's met these kind of people that are really, really, I mean, they're really serious about their business and they know how to do their business, but they could be funny and they could, I mean, they could make anybody laugh. I mean, they could make the palace guard at Buckingham Palace. They could have the guy rolling in stitches, or the guy that's walking at the tomb of unknown soldiers would crack a smile if this guy was Christoph was talking. Okay, but he preached this message. He was a mic man for his I think a colonel. He talked in the message. He talked about jumping out of airplanes. You jump up 6 inches and out 36 inches on certain airplanes, and you jump straight out on some other airplanes. He talked about all this stuff. But anyway, he talked about this one big day that they were having, and so many thousands of guys were jumping out of airplanes on a big parade day. But they weren't planning on the wind blowing them all over the place that day, and the wind just took them everywhere. It was a stormy day. It was a bad day to jump, but it was a big day because all the brass was out there watching them. So all these guys jumped out of their airplanes, and they were blown over into the trees, and then went places they weren't supposed to go. And one guy he got tangled up, and he hit his head when he hit the ground, and his face was dragged along the ground for a long ways, and just different things that happened when they jumped out of the planes. But then he said after they got gathered up all their gear, he started hiking. They had a 20-mile hike to go back to their home, to the barracks where they're supposed to be. And he said at the end of the hike, and he said just put one foot in front of the other till you get it all done, till you get there. And he said at the end of the hike, there was no fanfare there. There's no band playing. It wasn't like a ticker tape parade when soldiers came home from war or stuff like that. It was you just finished your journey. You finished your duty of what you were supposed to be doing. And he said the only thing they knew was when they got to the top of that hill, that last hill, they could see in the distance there was a flag on top of that hill. And they knew they were home when they got there. And they had dinner and a bed when they got there. And they knew it was, but they were so looking forward because the 20 miles was such a long way. After jumping out of planes, guys broke their legs, different things happened. I remember he went through all these details of some things that happened. But he said, but it was just such a, there was no fan, there wasn't a band there when they got there. And a lot of times we think this is going to be something big. The truth is, it's just, crossing into heaven is just passing from this life to the next. This flesh is gone. We step into a new robe. We're wearing His righteousness. And we'll be known as we're known. Everybody will know who you are when you get there. It's not like you're a stranger there. But you'll be known as you're known. Elijah, in chapter 19, verse 4, was saying, I want to go there and I can't wait. God, I'm done. Take me home. And God said, okay, fine. You're coming. But you got to finish your race first. I got a job for you to do. And after you're done, I'll take you home. Okay? You're not the only one. Everyone else is going through the same thing. And the other prophets they're still, my prophets are my men. We're still 7,000 men, not bowed the knee. They're doing everything they're supposed to be doing. You're not the only one. Just keep going and doing what you're supposed to do. Because off in the distance is that hill with a flag on it. And when we get there, we get the rest. There's some days. How many have days you want to keep resting? Anybody have those days? I think Tammy said that this morning. I don't want to go to work. If I could just rest a little bit longer, if I could rest and get a buffet and then go back to rest, what do you call that? Vacation? Okay. Finish the race. Because there's no excuses. And we can't quit early. We can't go home early. And God said, I'm not done with you yet. Okay? Elijah said, but I'm the last one. I'm the only one. And God says, you're not. There's 7,000 more just like you. Just keep coming. See the flag? Keep coming. Top of the hill, you're done. You got to do this, this, and this. We're done. I got this job for you to do. We'll go into more of the story of what Elijah did. He did everything God asked him to do. And God blessed him for it. Okay? Matter of fact, of all the people in the Old Testament, only him. There's only a couple of people that are that are seen in the physical being in the New Testament. Elijah and Moses are two of them, but that's the only ones from the Old Testament that God brings up to these people in the New Testament that see him, like Elijah. And God says, just do what you're supposed to do. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. We got back here to church tonight. We picked up some kids, and we had some extra kids come in. And we had 3 that got dropped off here, actually 5 that got dropped off here that didn't ride with us, and the parents aren't here. And Patty walked into class, and she has about 4 extra kids from more than last week. And Patty and Jennifer are back there, and Patty said, what are you trying to do? Finish your race. Finish your race. Keep going. Just keep going, because you're here for a reason. And those kids need her. And Jennifer back there in that class. And Mike and Debbie got the other cat. Sue's usually back there, or Michelle will be back there when she gets back next week, back with the little kids, with the preschoolers up to 1st grade. And there's, I don't know, everybody knows what that last room on the left side looks like. What is it? 12 feet long, 6 feet wide, 14 kids in there. Okay? I mean, it's, if they're this tight, they can't move. Okay? They can't get in trouble because they can't go anywhere. It's a blessing. And God says, just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. Okay? I'll let you know. Instead of come home. Let's pray. Thank you, Lord, for loving us. Thank you for the truth you've given us in your word. Thank you for the story of Elijah and how you blessed him. And you answered his prayer, but you said, I want you to finish your job first. I pray that you use us for your glory, that we will finish the job that you've given us. Help us be a witness for Christ brought to be in all of our lives. I pray for those either with us tonight, they're lost. When you see them saved, I pray that you'll work in their hearts and show them their need for Christ. Show them their need to trust Jesus Christ personally as their Savior. And we're glad for the promise, happy for the promise of heaven. We're thrilled about the life that you've given us. Please bless our church family. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. Let's sing. Let's sing one song. Page 32, when the roll was called up yonder. Kind of goes along with the first song we sang. When the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. Page 32, here we go.
When the trumpet of the Lord shall sound, and time shall be no more, and the skies eternal bright and fair, when the saved of earth shall gather over on the other shore, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there. Last verse. Let us labor for the Master from the dawn till setting sun. Let us talk of all his wondrous love and care. Then when all of life is over and our work on earth is done, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there. Marlon, you dismiss us. Amen. Thanks for coming out tonight.